I love it. I love it. I think that intro is so dope. That's just my personal intro from when
I like that one.
I love it. I love the music, the upbeat, just dun, 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 you know. Anyway, what's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great day today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, that's awesome, Russo.
Every time we've been talking for 20 minutes. He's been all the way across the room.
He wants to be on the air, man. It's all right. It's all right. All right. So yeah, I'm here with my buddy, my daughter's godfather, and my bestie, Anthony Michael Russo from Be the Change.
I voted today, everybody.
Woo! Good job. If you guys have not voted, please do. And if you can't get to the polls, and request an absentee ballot, but I highly request that everybody goes and votes in person. Either way, vote. All right. Vote. So we got a lot of stuff that we want to talk about today. We'll probably do this one for about an hour, and then we're going to come back. We'll take an intermission, and then we'll be back on 30 minutes after we stop this one. Today, we're just going full force all day. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things for the rest of this day. So if you guys missed this one, it's okay. Share it out, please. I appreciate it. If you could watch it from YouTube, I would appreciate that. If you don't want to do YouTube or you don't want to do Facebook, we are also on pilled.net right now, streaming live. We are on Facebook on both my pages, the fan page and my personal page. So I was going to put it on Be the Change, but I didn't know if somebody wanted me to do that. So I didn't. Here we are. Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about.
Make sure you follow Be the Change if you haven't already. Be the Change USA. Super easy to find. Hold
on. If you guys aren't following Be the Change, then we have a problem, because Be the Change is an extension of Streetlights. It's the business aspect of it, and also a very informative. A lot more content gets shared on there that's beyond just me and Russo.
A lot of positivity.
All positivity. All positivity. So follow that page. Follow the Streetlights Unity Movement page. Follow me on regular Facebook. Follow me on YouTube. That is very important. And then also follow me on pill.net, because that thing is growing. We actually just reached 10,000 users yesterday on Pilled. It started out with
how many followers were there before you started working?
400.
Nice.
Yes. So that is amazing. All right. So that's awesome. That's important to me, guys. It's a big help. Pill.net is a big help to me, and the dude that runs it is amazing. He's family. He's a big street light all day long, and also a brother. So shout out to you, Matthew. I appreciate you, my brother. You're the man. But let's jump right into this. We got a lot to show you guys. You want to start off with the whole town hall?
Yeah. Ready to rock when you are.
That stream real quick. There we go. I'm gonna mute my mic. Mute yours, please, and let's let this thing ride out.
Stop bossing me around, God.
Be watching you on a debate stage right now. We're not doing that, so let's clear up a few things from the last one. You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No,
my question to you is,
you've done this to me and everybody.
Why does it seem like
I denounce white supremacy? Okay,
you did 2 days later.
White supremacy for years. But you always do it. You always start off with a question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a beat.
Here we go again. Every time, in fact, my people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
Study the subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories. Why not just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy. I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more in this vein.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that. And I agree with it.
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult
no idea. I know nothing
You don't know that? Okay.
No, I don't know that.
Neither
do you know that.
Okay, just this week
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left? Why aren't you asking Joe Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before me.
No, so cute. Antifa exists. They're vicious, they're violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities. And they happen to be radical left.
Just this week, you retweeted to your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe.
What was that, sir?
I think that's the end of that segment. That's a good spot to stop and pause and discuss.
I was so proud. Let me tell you, I was so proud, bruh. Live on the air, he denounced racism and white supremacy again, yet again. Live for everybody. I don't want to hear anybody say it. And then, well, you did it 2 days later, dude. He's been doing it for years, And if he wasn't being attacked in the debate when he was debating with Sleepy Joe, then he would have finished the sentence, because I went back and watched it and he said, sure, who do you want me to? And then they start cutting him off. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear anything else about it. And then as for the other question that she asked, which I'm not going to say the word, I'll let them say that word. I'm not saying the word that starts with that letter. But I love how he handled that. Do you see how he did that there?
Yeah.
I love it. And he gave him props. Like, no, I hear that they're against this and that, and I'm against it too. I love it.
Which is interesting because she portrayed that group as different than they are. Like she said, they say that you're the savior, and they say that there's a mass ring, whatever. That's an element of it. Clearly, she also has been under the Kool-Aid of what the mainstream media has fed her about what the negatives are of the potential questions. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in there that's regarding other countries, like the effect from China, globalism, etc. There's all these things that she just touched on. Here's the furthest, the outlier, the craziest part of this, which honestly, it's got a lot of background to actually research, but different story. Again, and the whole purpose of that group that's now been banned off of all social medias is for people to do their own research. It's not saying follow us to every word. It's saying this is what we have found, and when there is smoke, there can be fire, and when there is coincidence after coincidence, there can be fact. That's all that group is, and Trump knows that. Let's be honest, he was playing coy. He's not an idiot.
I'm telling you, that man has got me feeling more patriotic than I have ever felt in my entire existence in America. I am so proud to be an American, and I'm very proud of this president, and I have not said that about any president before. I am very proud of this president, bro. The way he's moving, how he's operating, the way that people call him a divider, but I'm telling you, he's been a uniter in this country. He's been uniting people. The negative people want to say that he's dividing because they want to be divided. They want to be divided.
I was listening
to Trump 2020 all the way. Yes, Sherry, that's what I'm talking about.
What'd she say? I missed
she voted Trump 2020 all the way.
So my Facebook post on my personal page today, because again, 2016, I voted for Donald Trump, and I didn't know if I did. I made a huge mistake. I didn't know if I should feel dirty. I didn't really know. But I took my photo, put it up on the social media today. I said, exercise my right to vote. Wasn't sure about my vote in 2016. Fast forward, couldn't be more passionate to give my vote in 2020. And then I had a face mask with a flag on it. Feel like in this election season, the flag face mask is a dead giveaway. Proud to be an American. Trump
all day long. So I had something that switching over to another topic, we're going to go back to this, but there's something that I feel strongly about that people, I get questioned about a lot. I try to stay away from it, but I'm just going to be open about it. And it's the issue of abortion. And I'm going to be very frank. I hope that I don't offend anybody with what I'm about to say and how I'm going to say it, but I'm going to tell you why I feel the way that I feel about it. Okay. Abortion. Now, a lot of people's stance on abortion, it's a touchy thing to me. Now, I'm not perfect. Nobody on this earth is perfect. And I know that there are some people that, have had abortions, which is why they won't switch their stance on abortion because they feel like they'll be hypocritical. But that is not at all the case. It is not at all the case. I personally, I loathe abortion. I am against abortion. I'm strongly against abortion. And the reason is, now, whatever a woman wants to do with her body, that is her choice. Okay. That is your choice to do whatever you want to do with your body. But I am against abortion in the sense of, if me and Russo and everybody else in the country has to pay for your abortion because you want to use abortion as a form of birth control. I think that is horrible. I think that it's wrong. And I don't think that the American people should have to pay for murder. You kill a baby turtle, you get fined. You know what I'm saying? You kill certain animals, you get fined. But if you kill a human life that is inside of you, it's perfectly okay, and we have to pay for it. So if a person wants to have an abortion, you go for it. That's on you, but you pay for it. You pay for it. If you want to commit murder, that's up to you. You pay for it. Now, they'll say, but what about in the instance of it could take a person's life, like a medical condition? I understand that. And that's between you and your physician. And if your physician recommends that, then that's on you. And beyond that, if you're like, I was,
wait, on who? On the physician or on the person in
between them, the person and the physician, that's up to you guys. That's not my call. And I understand that. I get it. I'm compassionate towards that.
So do you think in that case that the government that it should be paid? Like if it is a medical procedure,
if your health care comes from the state, then hey, I understand. I get it. Nobody should have to die if they don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Right. I get that. And I'm not against that. And it's a very fine line with me. I'm not going to lie. Any other instance, and I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, even in the instance of like
the R word. Got it.
Yeah. I still think that maybe the baby should be able to be adopted because there's people that would, want to take that baby and that can't have a baby. I know that's a hard thing to say. The only way that I will compromise on that is if it is a child. If a child had that happen to them and they weren't active at all and they got taken advantage of and that happened, then I completely understand. No one wants their baby to have a baby, especially a baby they're gonna look at and remember a traumatizing, part of their life. This is just my opinion. Okay, this is Cash's outlook on it, and I'm breaking it down for everybody that's been asking me about this because I don't like to talk about it. But I think that a human life should never be taken as a form of birth control. Just because you wanted to go out and you wanted to party and have a night, or you broke up with your boyfriend and your life's going to be so hard because you're not working and all, I don't care about none of that. I'm sorry that you made a bad choice, and we all do that. We all make bad choices in life, but you should not be able to commit murder because of you making a bad choice. And that's exactly what it is. However you want to look at it. When you go to a clinic, that is murder. That is murder, plain and simple. Other people get life in prison, 25 to life in prison for murder, but we allow it for a woman that wants to say, it's my body, it's my rules, I do whatever I want to do. If I want to sleep with 10, 15 people and get pregnant 10, 15 times and I don't want to keep the baby, I can just call Planned Parenthood and they will get rid of it for me. And we've become so out of touch with life and what it means to be alive that it's just something that doesn't even get thought about. Like, just because you don't know this, you don't look at this as a life. You look at it as a glob inside of you. Once there's a heartbeat, that's a life. You know what I'm saying? And if you really felt that strongly about it, if you wanted to be more responsible, that this is the compromise that I would make. A woman that does something with somebody and they're scared about being pregnant because they're not sure about this person, they made a Plan B pill. You know what I'm saying? The day after you do what you do, you can go and take a Plan B pill, and that will stop whatever you want to happen. And you pay for that. You pay for that, not the state. That's you. You could go to the store and buy that. You know what I'm saying? And then it don't got to affect me. It don't got to come out of my money. It doesn't got to come out of American people's money. That's my only compromise. But yes, Cash Kelly stands against abortion. I'm not okay with abortion. And this is one more thing I got to hit, a point that I want to make. Ilhan Omar, what's her name?
Yeah,
Ilhan,
Minnesota.
okay. She's a Muslim. Okay. She is a Muslim. And being a Muslim, being somebody that studies Islam, you are not allowed to kill a baby. You cannot have an abortion as a Muslim. Yet, I want you guys to think about this. And then all these people that are Christian that say that they support, you know, a woman's choice or whatever, I want you to think about this. The same lady, and I'm using her as an example because she's somebody that advocates this and pushes this. She would not do it to herself. She would not be okay with it within herself. Why would she be okay with it if you did it? And this is a lot of people on the left. They would not have an abortion, yet they push so hard for you to be able to have an abortion. She calls herself a Muslim. She is against it. It is against, in their religion, it is against the will of God, of Allah, for them to do that. But yet they push it on you and tell you that it's okay, and they push you to go and do it. Why? If it's not okay with them and they stand against it, why would they support it? It's because they're hypocrites and they only want to make you happy. And it's always about making you happy doing something that is immoral or sinful in the eyes of God, that they're okay with you doing that they would not do because they only want your vote. They don't want to do anything for you except allow you to hurt yourself and stop your line and stop you from being to taking full, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't want you to have a part in the real American dream. All right. That's the whole thing. They want you to stay dependent upon them and to think that everything that you do is okay, even if it's wrong to them. They want you to feel like it's okay. All right. And they will push you to go ahead and do it, but they would never themselves step foot in that clinic because of their religion. So if you call yourself a Christian or a Muslim and you're okay with it, and you are an advocate of somebody that or of that cause of abortion, then you are doing yourself a disservice in the eyes of God, the God that you say that you serve. So I'm going to leave that there. And I hope I answered it the best way that I possibly could for everybody, that they don't got to ask me anymore about abortion. I am not for abortion. I'm not okay with it. And it's just wrong. I agree, Sherry.
Marilyn had a great comment. She's like, said, I do not believe I should pass my moral beliefs on someone else, but I should not pay for things I don't believe in. Exactly. And ultimately, people, I think, so the same way that the left tends to tell the people on the right that the media or that the president has taken away, or it's done the opposite of fear mongering. And the way the right, we look at the left, they're fear mongering in terms of COVID. I think it's very similar in terms of Roe versus Wade. Right now, they're talking about the Supreme Court. The left is like telling their constituents, oh my God, you guys they're going to outlaw abortion. They're going to turn over Roe versus Wade. You're not going to be able to do anything with your body. That is actually not in any way, shape, or form accurate, correct, in any way semblance whatsoever. If they overturn Roe versus Wade, what that means is it'll be a state rights situation. I'm not going to say never, but it should never, based on the way that our country is set up, it will never be illegal to have an abortion, no matter if there is 10 or no matter if there is 9 conservative Supreme Court justices. What it'll mean is it'll be a state-by-state issue, whether or not it's funded by the government.
That's my only issue, is the funding.
And there is some way to make it, there's some states that will make it actually illegal. I think that'll be very few and far between, but ultimately overturning Roe versus Wade is not what people actually think it is. And Cash, you brought up something with somebody that the R word happens to that is of age, and they say, what's the right way to do it? Personally, on the health aspect, I'm with you. And I will also say that I truly believe that should be, if the person is going to die and they've got insurance and whatever, that should be covered by health insurance, because that fits. You want to survive. And if the doctor makes the call and says you have a 50% chance of dying if you try to have this baby, I believe it's your choice whether or not the insurance kicks in, etc.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the R word, and I'm a little different. I kind of feel in those circumstances, but this day and age, that word gets thrown around a lot. So it could end up being, it could be more dangerous. The only way to get a paid for abortion is to say that you got the R word happen to you. And then all of a sudden you have to file a police report. And then the guy that really didn't do it, it could get very, 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 very ugly and dangerous. But what if there was charity groups that paid for that themselves? And actually, I mean, all these people speak out about how great the world can be if, you know, women had full choice of their bodies. So why not these celebrities have these groups that will actually fund, in the cases of the R word happening, that they fund those cases if the person believes that they should have an abortion?
Tammy says, what about God gives us the choice? Yes, that's true. You have free will to do whatever you want. You do. You have the free will. Everybody can do whatever they want. You can choose to murder somebody if that's what you want to do. I don't recommend it because life is sacred and God created life. Therefore, God should be the only one to take life. But if you want to be able to make that choice to do that, I am all for it. This is America. You're free to do whatever you want to do. I just don't want to pay for it. So I feel like the law should be, if you want to do that, that's at your discretion. That's your choice. Okay. But we shouldn't have to pay for it unless, again, it has to do with the R word or it's life threatening medically. Okay. That's it. That's my stance on it. And that's all the time I really want to spend on talking about it. How about you?
No, I and you and I, the great thing is we do differ a little bit on this one, and that's completely fair. But for me, ultimately, and I think this is where the human aspect comes in, but late-term abortions, that's where I draw the line, where I go, if you really think it's okay with no health issues whatsoever to just go, I'm at 6.5 months and I'm going to drop this baby, that's where we are going to vehemently disagree. That I just think that's an absolutely ridiculous move as a human being.
I agree 100% wholeheartedly.
That's it. That's all I got on that.
Also, I wanted to touch on something else since we're on the R word, right? Stormy Daniels, you remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember how much publicity she got?
Of
and
course.
I'm bringing this talking point up because it was brought to me last night as I watched the Trump card. Did you watch that movie yet?
I have not.
You need to watch it.
I'll watch it.
Really, really, really good.
I have no life. I'll watch it on this lovely Friday night.
Dude, check this out. When that one guy came out and talked about then Senator Obama and what he did to Senator Obama in the limo. Do you remember that? How he performed an act on him?
No, I don't remember that. Who did this?
Yeah, the guy that came out on the news and he got sued and all types of stuff. And the other guy that made the claim ended up dead and all kinds of crazy stuff because they were talking about that they were with, you know, at that time, Senator Obama, and he did something, you know, with the LGBTQ stance, you know what I'm saying? With Obama. And then he was doing some drugs that had to do with your nose, and then Obama was doing the same thing, but in
allergy medicine. Got it. Okay.
Yes. When he came forward, he got no publicity. They didn't put him out in the forefront of anything in the media, but yet they do with Trump. Why didn't they get an equal amount of publicity for the claim? Both made a claim, yet when it had to do with the left, they said nothing about it. It was silenced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with Stormy, they came out and put it all out there and made it seem like Trump was just this big old monster that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about it. And it shows that right there. The thing that I'm trying to say is that it shows the narrative that they always try to push. They're pro-left all the way. All the way. They're pro-left.
But I know you don't want to go back on the last subject, but we're kind of, I mean, the Stormy, it all fits into.
Go for it. What do you think?
I forgot. Did you see the news about Stevie Nicks coming out today? She said there would have been no Fleetwood Mac if she hadn't had abortion. So she said, there's just no way I could have had a child then. So she's trading the life of a human being for the fact that she, you know, superstardom and had Fleetwood Mac. And it's like, really? That's
what they do.
Because I get that. And I get that thought process, but that's so single-handed.
I love Fleetwood Mac.
What's that?
I love Fleetwood Mac.
I do too. But you look at it like this and you go, wait a second. What about if you would have had the kid and they would have had a band better than yours, Mom? Like, you don't know, or you'd have had somebody that could have changed. You just don't know. But when you make a decision as a human being, I believe as though you make it, you have to own it. You just shouldn't sell. I think it's that weird level of celebration. Because again, I'll be honest, I've had the discussion before. I'm like, you know, what is it? It's your call. What do you want to do, etc. So it's one of those ones.
My buddy right there, man. That's my guy. He's that's his son.
Oh,
so
nice.
Shout out to you, little man. Nothing but love for you and your family. I hope that you guys are doing okay, and reach out to me, all right, if you guys need anything.
What's up, Median, right?
Yeah, man, he's a good kid. All of them, they're all good kids.
So anyways, I just think it's crazy. Stevie Nicks is, I mean, it's just such an odd relation to make. And like, if that was made in an opposite direction, somebody said, you know, I wouldn't be here if my mom thought about aborting me as a child. I wouldn't be here, and look at what I've done. And those stories don't get shared enough, and they're out there. And then Stevie Nicks just drops this clear political piece of, I mean, the timing is strictly Supreme Court justice, election timing stuff to have Stevie Nicks come out and do this. It's just, it adds to the level of just complete effery that's going on.
I agree. 100%. I totally agree, man. It's insane.
Do you want to share that video from the Lincoln Project?
Yes, please. Pull it up.
Right. Let me drop this one.
Just so you guys know, by the way. Oh, look at it. There's Ann. Hey, Ann, I'm gonna call you. We haven't talked in a while. I want to talk to you. Ann is a super streetlight, you guys. She's amazing. Ann is the lady that also, when we gave away 150 kids fireworks, Ann paid for the pizzas for all of the kids. Literally. So Ann is amazing. And we love you. Thank you. And I'm gonna call you as soon as we're done with this, and me and you're gonna talk. But yeah, did you pull it up? Yep, you did.
Yeah, it's very real. Okay, so to preface this real quick, this video is something that was done by Donald Trump Jr. And when he did this video, they ended up taking the whatever it's called, the Lincoln Project, which is supposedly a conservative group. And this made it up for 24 hours before it was finally taken down. I was one of the probably 1,000 Republicans that actually, said probably shouldn't be up there. So they edited a video. If you're talking about the New York Post getting taken down in New York Post getting taken down in an hour by all social media, and this getting almost, I think it was up to a million views when I saw it, of them editing this piece of garbage, which, again, if every human being knew that this was fake and this was false, great. But there's a lot of people that will take this at face value and think that this was actually said. So I will go ahead and play it.
I'm Donald Trump Jr.
The volume just went out for some reason. Restart it.
Meetings, Russia collusion, public service.
How about now?
We got it back, but restart it because it was all the way muted. All right.
I'm Donald Trump Jr. I'm the son of the President of the United States. He's one of the most unethical humans in political history. Criminal conduct, prostitution, human trafficking rings, threats of extortion, business meetings, Russia collusion, public service, cocaine. The corruption extends beyond ethical concerns. It's potentially criminal. My father was threatening to withhold U.S. aid to Ukraine by effectively blackmailing the Ukrainian government with taxpayer money. My father leveraged his political power to sell out the United States of America to our enemies and enrich himself, cocaine. Do you know who was bought and paid for by the Kremlin? The President of the United States, who also happened to be one of Vladimir Putin's closest associates. The dark and complex interlacings of corruption within the family has now been exposed. We need someone who will put the interests of the American people over the interests of themselves. And that person is Vice President Joe Biden, cocaine.
Democrats who don't
All right, while we're denouncing, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Hell of an edit, by the way.
So if you want to do that in this day and age, if that was edited for Biden to say those similar things, it would never make it past the first fact checker, and it would have to have. I mean, you're allowed to do satire, but make sure it's clear. Like, this is, this piece has been edited, or like back in the real world of journalism, you couldn't, if something said live, you would have to say, if it was news, recorded earlier. You have to be honest to the damn human being watching it. So how many people watch that and go, oh my God, and then shared it and said, I knew it all along. He'd admit that his father was a POS. It's fake, and they just don't make it clear. It was actually quite the good editing job to do that and put that together. And that's terrifying that is allowed to go for over 24 hours. And a New York Post story that has photos, hard drives, basic level of evidence, and a lot of alleged stuff in there that needs to get investigated, and a breaking story that all it does is take what we already knew and ties Hunter to Joe. That's all it's doing. It's tying the fact that they knew. You've got interviews of Joe going, anything my son does, I'm sure it's fine. How can you believe that? And he answered, I trust him. This is the person you said you've trusted, and there is evidence on these hard drives that point very differently, that he was literally selling out his father for millions of dollars to foreign governments.
Yep.
So it seems like pretty damning evidence, yet that can't make it an hour, and this can make it over a day.
Exactly. And you know, just to throw it out there, if the shoe was on the other foot, Trump would have been in jail. They would have tried to prosecute him. They would have looked all the way into this. It wouldn't even, it's taken so long for them to get the truth out, because they don't want the truth to get out. It's taken so long for them to administer justice for things like this. When they went hard for Trump over allegations, they went at Trump with everything over allegations. This stuff has credible evidence supporting the claim, and yet nothing's being done. The man is still actually running for office. It's insane.
It's nuts, bro. It boggles my mind, because I got in some tiffs last night on Facebook, and they brought up things like, oh, it's the exact same thing as the Hillary Clinton emails, etc. I'm like, well, we saw some of them. They were not exactly positive for her, and there was also a lot that had been damaged, destroyed. There was late night. I mean, it was a Watergate type situation, and all of a sudden they're comparing the two. This is an actual hard drive that we've seen all of that's accidental. Now we just have to make sure it's traced back to Hunter. And guess what? There's photos of Hunter on it in some really compromising positions, and supposedly a sex tape, allegedly a sex tape, which means it's his damn computer. It's not like somebody random has just been videotaping in his room. Who knows? But fact is, there is some stuff to this that needs to get investigated, and it is enough journalistically to present to the American public, and it's getting shut down by censors. There's a lot today, like Shapiro and even some Democrats are going, I think we're pushing the censorship thing a little too hard. Is it truly censorship because it is a privately owned corporation that Twitter and Facebook, etc.? It's questionable. But we've allowed our social medias and our private companies to become a monopoly on the information that we give, where it needs to start getting discussed as if it is an infraction on the First Amendment rights of the United States of America.
You are absolutely right, bro. And I promise you, I could not have said everything that you just said better. That is the absolute truth of the matter, everybody. The absolute truth of the matter. And that's why, for me, with this whole media thing, it is very important for everybody to look for alternative sources of news, as like me and Russo. We're not coming out with even though we are Trump supporters all the way, we won't be biased. You know what I'm saying? If something was done wrong by Trump, we will say, yo, this was wrong. Just like if something was done good by the left, which is very, very rare, we will say that it was good. Just like how you seen I ripped Ice Cube because I felt Ice Cube was not, he wasn't doing what needed to be done. And what did the man do? He did what needed to be done, which I retracted my statement, apologized, and thanked the man for actually stepping up. So truth, you can't be biased with what truth you want to put out. And that's exactly what the media does, even to the point where they don't even care if it's true or not. If it pushes their agenda, they're going to push it, period. Propaganda, truth, lie, doesn't matter. If it pushes their agenda, they're going to put it out there. And that's the case with most media sources, major media sources. And that's what we never want to fall into.
Truth.
Yeah, man. All right. So what else do we got? What else?
We got a video right after of Trump. Let me find it. Not that one. Don't pull that up. It's a nude picture of me. Just kidding. It's not. Totally kidding. It's totally not a nude picture. Where the hell did I do with it? There it is right there. All right. Uno momento, senor. Share screen and Chrome tab. And here we go. Share audio. Look at me killing the game.
There you go. You ain't forgetting. That's what I'm talking about. You ready?
Yes, sir.
So let me ask, okay, I'm glad you brought up the election because I do want to ask about that. That's another kind of leftover item. A lot of people have asked you, will you accept a peaceful transfer of power? You have said repeatedly, the only way we lose this election is if it is rigged. Now, that is simply not true. The fact is either candidate can lose fair and square without ballot fraud. So will you accept the results of the election?
That's the way I want it to be. But when I see thousands of ballots, right, unsolicited ballots being given out by the millions, and thousands of them are dumped in dumpsters, and when you see ballots with the name Trump, military ballots from our great military, and they're dumped in garbage cans.
That is a handful. We could go all night, which we won't.
No,
but
no,
we
it's
could go all
happening
night,
every day.
one by one, a single case, a single day. You're talking about 150 million votes. Your own FBI director says there is no evidence of widespread fraud.
Well, then he's not doing a very good job. All you have to do is pick up the papers every day. 50,000 in Ohio, the great state of Ohio. 50,000 in another location, I think North Carolina. 500,000 applications in Virginia. No, there's a tremendous problem. But let me just tell you, they talk about the peaceful transfer, right? They spied on my campaign and they got caught, and they spied heavily on my campaign, and they tried to take down a duly elected sitting president. And then they talk about, will you accept a peaceful transfer? And the answer is yes, I will. But I want it to be an honest election, and so does everybody else. When I see thousands of ballots dumped in a garbage can and they happen to have my name on it, I'm not happy about that.
Okay, but just those are there is in fact no evidence of widespread fraud, and you were sowing doubt about our democracy.
How can you say that? You do read newspapers.
I do.
You do watch the news.
Yes,
I know you read the news, but you watch it.
I do.
Because every day they're talking about ballots that are corrupt, that are fraudulent.
And millions that are being processed right now.
Sure, but you can win a race. Take a look at me. You can win a race by 1%.
But why are you laying the groundwork for that right now? It's like if I go play tennis with my husband and I say my ankle's hurting right now.
I don't want that to happen, Savannah. I want it to be clean.
Okay.
I really feel we're going to win. But I want this to be clean. But it's sort of ironic that you and them talk about the peaceful transfer when I spent 3.5 years fighting off these maniacs. And now it turns out, everything's there, that they were the ones that dealt with Russia. And it's too bad. But peaceful transfer, I absolutely want that. But ideally, I don't want to transfer because I want to win.
Yes, and I think that your words will probably reassure some folks. Let's get to our first voter. We've got Jacqueline Lugo. Now, she...
Sweet.
Go for it.
Okay. So she doesn't understand. It's kind of like drinking. A bunch of little bottles equals a big bottle. So if it's consistently happening, it is a problem. And she even admitted it's consistently happening, but it's no big deal. Look at all the millions that are successful. That's absolutely an absurd thought process. I'm going to give a personal example. Somebody that I know who filled out an absentee ballot for their grandparents the last election, ended up she wasn't able to go home. And this time it was part of the mailing where they all got a ballot. And the sister, who is an uber liberal, ended up filling out the ballot for her grandmother. Her grandmother said, I want to vote for Donald Trump and I want a fully Republican ticket. And what did the daughter do? Filled it out completely the other way and had her grandmother sign it. So just think at the level of, again, absentee ballots. That's shame on them because that's a shitty situation of that family. But at the same time, the less that can happen, probably the better. And if you are mass sending ballots to people, which there's mistakes that we have heard of across the board in terms of nursing homes, people getting 2 ballots, different addresses. Right now, like I'm at the same place my mom used to live at. If she gets her mail and say she disagreed with me politically, thankfully she doesn't. If she did, I could just take her mail and fill it out the way I want to. And again, that could go both ways. That could go Republican, that can go Democrat, but it's still fraudulent. That's the thing. We have set it up. And I could honestly see why Biden could go, well, in this area, it doesn't make sense that I had this many votes and there's this and this and this. There's a lot of analyzation that's going to have to be done in these instances, which is going to create a complete cluster F of knowing who is going to be our president. And yes, 100 here and there, no big deal. But if it's 100 here and there over and over and over, or Ohio, 50,000 ballots done incorrectly that they have to resend stuff out there, which creates mass confusion, ironically, in conservative counties that those were received, which those are now void if anybody does not get the news. those are no longer good. Even if you go, oh, it's close enough, there's only one thing missing because that's all it was. Those 50,000 have to be disposed of. They are not valid, and if they send those in and don't send the new one in, it's not good. So ultimately, it's a huge problem. A handful over time becomes a real situation. 500,000 out of 50 million is still a situation, especially when it's electoral college makes a difference. Florida was decided during the Bush year was decided by like 700, 700 or 8,000 somewhere. It was under 10,000 votes. That can make a difference.
Yes. People don't understand that though. And not even the people, the media, see, they understand, they get it. They know, she knows. Savannah's not ignorant to this. You know what I'm saying? She's got a good career. She's not unintelligent. She knows exactly what she's saying and exactly what she's doing. She is a part of the problem. One of them people that try to put out misinformation and sway people's beliefs, sway people's minds with the intent of swaying the vote. That's all it's about, is they're trying to sway the vote.
Look at Sherry. Sherry, I got ballots for the family that used to live in my house. I've lived there for 15 years. Like, it's already an imperfect system the way we have it, which is mind-boggling in 2020. And then you add the level of uncertainty of mass mail-in voting, and it is to think that is going to be accurate is just ignorant. It's an ignorant way to look at it.
Yes, it is.
Prevent.
You're definitely right.
We, as a government, when we look at wars, when we look at different things that we're trying to fix, you look ahead of the fact. You don't say, well, let's see how it goes on a first try. The election is the most important thing in American politics. Every two years, in some cases, 4 years from a presidential level, it's the most important thing. And we are essentially basing our knowledge from something else, the absentee that's done a different way, and saying it'll work just fine if we add this level onto it, with a failing postal system that is even worse than it was 4 years ago, way worse than it was 8 years ago, and night and day difference than it was 30 years ago.
Yes, I agree, man. Brother, I love talking to you. I swear, this is great. On this next one, because we're probably wrapping up right around here. We're at the 45-minute mark. I want to know you got to go walk the dog. I'm going to go and cook for these kids real quick. But everybody, thank you guys for tuning in with us. And we have more to talk about. This is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that we're bringing to the forefront. We have to be careful how we do it, which is why you notice we weren't saying certain words. But we're going to get it out to you. All right. We'll get it out to you. We're going to start posting the links also to the knowledge that we have and the things that the way that we get our understanding. We're going to start posting them links in the description. Russo's going to help me with that because I suck at it. He's the brainiac behind the
All right, what were you saying? I was reading comments. What'd you say?
No, we're going to start posting links to the articles and things like that we find, that we read, that give us our information, that help us form our opinion on all the matters that we're talking about. That being said, we have a lot of things in the works. I'll be going to California here in 2 weeks. Russo's also going to be traveling around. He's just waiting on his RV to be fixed.
I might do that thing with I got to see if I'm available to fly down. Remember that thing with Angry Viking in Florida?
Yes.
Yeah, that's on the 24th.
I'm going to try to do that as well. And then also we have we got the California. Oh, the rally tomorrow. I got to be at the rally. I'll be speaking there at the Freedom Rally. Be on the lookout for that, guys. I'll be live there doing a debate or hosting a debate with Senator to be Tom McCullough. And I'll be doing that on the 22nd, I believe. And then on the 25th, I'll be in Chicago, Illinois, in Tent City, handing out lunches and foods with P, Devin, and Sophia. So that's going to be amazing. Have a lot of stuff in the works, but I do need you guys' help. I don't like to ask a lot, but I have to ask you right now specifically with a little bit of funding issues. So if you guys can donate, I'm going to share the link later on my after I'm done here, I'll share the link on my Facebook. If you guys can help out, I appreciate it. If you can't, totally understand. But thank you to everybody who has, will, and is going to. All right. I appreciate all the support all the time. You guys are amazing. Russo, you have anything you want to add?
No. Well, maybe when we come back, I'll try to find some good Biden clips from last night as well.
Yes, let's do that. We need to talk Biden.
We'll do some Biden.
Next hour, we're talking all Biden.
Yep, which will look a lot like this. Yeah.
I'm running for senator.
So yeah, he's gonna put that link up. Also, it also helps us when you buy some of the merch as well. So we'll put that link up as well. We don't have a red one. This is just special for me because I'm special. But we do have a whole bunch of different
I
stuff
want
as well.
one. I like red. See,
I don't know if I have one.
It'll go good with my hat.
right.
But yeah, man, we love you guys for real. Unite, don't fight. Be a street light, because only you could be the change that you want to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, and vote Trump 2020. Woo! Yeah, brother.